I'm Jay Rogers. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Local Motors. Local Motors being part of a competitiveness exchange really almost changes the name of what we do. For us, collaboration and cooperation are the center of innovation for us. So the name competitiveness almost says the wrong thing from the beginning. But what we are about is local collaboration. In the name of the company, Local Motors, that's what it means. We believe that innovation exists around the world, and bringing manufacturing close to where innovation is really what makes it come alive. So we want people to think, I don't have to go look to Japan or to Michigan or to Germany in order to be able to find, in this case, vehicle innovation. I'd like to be able to see it happen in Arizona or in Ecuador or in Southern California. And so the idea is local innovation, micro-manufacturing, to bring out cooperation amongst people. Every university, every school, every user of a vehicle has an opinion about how to make the vehicle better. But if their ideas can't be put to market quickly, then they basically die on the vine. They don't grow. And so our goal is to take communities of maybe 1 million to 10 million people and put a microfactory right in the center of those communities, which means that people have an opportunity to stay there. They have an opportunity to get jobs, to grow, to learn, and then they see the results of their labor come out in the market. And what this means for vehicle innovation is that we start to build products that can be well made, but they are responsive to the local environment. So instead of the world that we've had over the last 100 years of competitiveness being about competing to gain a business that sends things throughout the world, this is more about collaborating to build businesses that make a more meaningful economy locally. Two top lessons that I would say that we have learned for people who are looking to what is next. One is, let's not try to create Silicon Valley every place else in the world. Silicon Valley was an idea that said, if I want to do software innovation, that I create two research universities, Cal and Stanford, and there's land in between, and I have federal government funding that comes in, and I build an ecosystem of venture capitalists and people who would work on them, and there's no need to recreate that. It already exists. The first lesson is create what value you find local. Grow and create and incubate what value you find locally instead of trying to recreate something that's already been done. What's meaningful about this is that software can be global with the touch of a button. So Silicon Valley can create a lot of worth and send it anywhere in the world frictionlessly. But for hardware, it's much more difficult. And what you find is whether it's in textiles or whether it's in pottery or whether it's in advanced embedded systems controls or whether it is in silicon or whether it is in rubber, or there are different capabilities around the world that communities have for growing and making things. And my learning is to encourage people to work with what is local to be able to make those things strong. The second thing that we've learned really is this idea of patenting as a way to grow a business community quickly is sort of the wrong way to think. The goal of an intellectual property paradigm is to disclose. That's the goal. I want to show you what I did. But too often we think about the idea is to patent so that I can keep it from somebody else seeing it. And in today, with an internet all over the world, as long as you have a half-decent Wi-Fi signal, you have children, millennials as we call them, that all they want to do is know what you did so they can maybe do it better. And you see this in massive multiplayer games online. You're sharing all the time. I can play chess against somebody across the world. The goal is that we need what I've learned there is that our patent system has not kept pace with that. All over the world, what we need to do is build businesses that can take ideas and pay people for the ideas and manufacture the thing that was the idea quickly and get it into the market. So the other message is, first one is grow locally what you have that's a strength, and the second one is don't think about patenting it before you think about making the product and getting it in the market.
What do you think about gender?
I'm not only comfortable answering the question, I'm going to push you on the question a little bit more. So you have disadvantaged classes, genders, races, all over the world. It's not just about gender inequality. We have race inequality and we have age inequality. So I will focus on your question, which is about gender equality or inequality, but it can't stop there. It has to be more than that. So what I believe we do very well at Local Motors is the first thing when we think about sustainability is we say it's not just environmental sustainability and not just financial sustainability, but it's social sustainability. And so we want to build a business which gives meaningful employment for all of the people in a local area. And so we practice what we preach. So for example, we have a policy which gives 8 weeks of leave for parents, but it's not just for women, it's for women and men. So it's the paternity and the maternity leave. So if you're a new father or a new mother, we give paid 8 weeks. And then on top of that, we also spend the time to make sure that people can have flexible schedules so they can work from their home for what they need to do because we are a local company. So this is but one small example. And for us, we really feel that there is no need to have a degree in order to be able to prove that you can teach somebody something. So we work on a system of nano certifications where basically if you learn something, you can teach it to somebody else, and that allows to basically make it easier to become equal in the workplace. Instead of saying I have to go and I have to get a 4-year degree, it means that I can learn something quickly within a timeline that I can put together with whatever my life presents me with, and then I can go and gain that and teach it to somebody else. So these are meaningful ways in which we can shorten the inequality gap and also make sure that people are respected for the life choices that they make. Those choices tend to make people way more dedicated to a company over time than anyone else. I grew up in an era, 1970s, where the school that I went to had exactly the same number of women as it had men. There was one more woman in the class than there were men. And I have a sister who's closest to me in life, and I grew up never seeing women as any different from men. So the way that I view the world is one where, of course, it should be an equal playing field for cooperation or collaboration, but that's just not the reality for many other places in the world. So we make an active choice to try to make a difference in the communities that we go into.
Do you support entrepreneurship?
That's an interesting question. So I'll give a little bit of a longer answer to that, which is there's a myth of an entrepreneur, which is that everyone can be Steve Jobs or, Amancio Ortega or Henry Ford or you name it, Carlos Slim. Not everybody can be like that, because what that means is that not only did you have a good idea, but you were lucky in timing and you had a lot of money from somebody who could help you, and that's the myth of the entrepreneur. And for many people, they fail on the way up to that. But it doesn't mean that they didn't have a piece of what they were doing that was of great value. And in today's connected economy, I think we need to redefine entrepreneurship as people being successful, even if they didn't become as big as some of those names that we just talked about. And so I think that's why I say, do we support entrepreneurs? Yes, but if you redefine entrepreneurs as being a broader set of people that have just built a whole company, even if it's not a big company, one of the things we see in innovation is there are just too many barriers to entry. And so if you have a good idea in a vehicle world, you might be able to build a whole company around it, and I'd love to support that as a supplier or as a downstream partner or wherever in the ecosystem it fits in. But if you can't build a company, can't raise the money or do those kinds of things, I don't just look at being a seed fund or an accelerator as here's some money, go build a business. You may just have a great idea, let's build something off of that and pay you for the idea, or you may be able to do a piece of that ecosystem to move it along. So if we can expand the definition of entrepreneurship, then I think we get even more successful at supporting people who are those kinds of entrepreneurs.